So we have a question from Lena, age 20. She's a university student. How do you negotiate world-building density, avoiding lore dumps, while achieving thematic depth? Wow, this is a tough question, um, Lena, but I will try to answer it. So in the first draft of the book, when I first sent it to my editor, John Jarrold, who's a well-respected editor in the industry, and he was kind enough to edit it for me. He kept saying, "Oh, that's an information dump," and he kept crossing them out. So I did in when I first wrote The Jewel of Wenzlo, I did fall foul of that rule of avoiding lore dumps, and I would try and put in as much information as possible because I thought the reader would find it, invaluable to the story. But, as I progressed, I learned that less is more in the sense that you need to give just enough information to spark the reader's imagination and to create some questions in the reader's mind beyond what they're reading. So, you know, I I kind of sprinkle the story with some seasoning of lore, but I don't, you know, over season it, shall we say, if we're using the food analogy. Um, and I think once your taste buds kind of pick up that taste, then there'll be it'll kind of open up the reader's curiosity and hopefully add depth to. They might pick up little things which other readers might not, um, because I always try and add little hints here and there to a greater lore or greater um, world beyond the tight story. In fact, the way I wrote the story is from quite a tight POV, point of view. Um, that does two things. One, it helps you, the reader, immerse yourself in the world because you're looking at it from quite a tight angle, uh, as if you were there, as opposed to a more distant cinematic uh, kind of point of view where you kind of slightly looking at it from the outside. So I really wanted the reader to be inside the story. And then the kind of deeper themes, um, they come out. I didn't start off with a particular theme. I don't think that's fair on the reader because I don't want to be trying to push morals down people's throats. But what happened was, as the characters develop, they're struggling and they're looking for answers too. It's not just you, the reader, or me, the writer, who are looking for answers to life. The characters in the book are looking for answers, and they each have their weaknesses, and therefore, I think they themselves kind of encounter life as it's thrown at them, and they themselves have to find solutions, and sometimes those solutions are wrong, and sometimes they need the help of others to get through. There's no shame in asking for help. If it's, for example, the most emblematic scene in book one is when Batathorn, who's this invincible, really strong mouse warrior, scared of nothing. But they have to escape through a freezing river and he can't swim. So he lets the weakest of the group, which is Bean, the vole, help him get through his little crisis. And for someone who can swim, it might not be a crisis, but for someone who can't swim, however tough they are, they're, excuse the pun, but they're thrust in the deep end. And so I think these are the themes which kind of come out in the action and in the conversations that the characters have. I mean, obviously, I wrote the book based on my experiences of life. So there are some interests of mine that kind of come through at a deeper level. So Platonism or Stoicism, these kind of areas of, or even quantum entanglement and science, all these interests kind of and history, they all find their way into this book and hopefully give it a depth. Because I started writing the book when I was 11, but finished writing the book when I was 45. Hopefully it brings the child and the adult in me onto the table, but also appeals to the child and the adult in everyone, or people, or some people who have that inner child who's kind of excited by fantasy and adventure and escapism, history. But then maybe the adult who's looking for a bit more sophistication, then they can find that in the book too.